So a couple of months ago, we did a video. We talked about Tracy was potentially getting made redundant.
Yes, yeah, I think at the beginning of the summer. It's been quite a drawn-out process, but we have the news. I am not being made redundant, which potentially is good news. It is good news. But what it's done for me and Eric is, over the months where we thought I might have been made redundant, is it really brought that thought of retirement and what retirement would look like, what financially it'll look like, as well as, you know, from a social aspect and how we'd fill our time. Kind of really brought it to life. And throughout that time, we started, we downloaded that Snoop onto our phones. We started to look at budgets. Retirement really started to become almost within arm's reach, It wasn't that far away. But when we've done the budgeting, we've looked at all of our DBs and our DCs and what they'll bring in if we start to draw them early, what our outgoings are and what our outgoings might be if we retire, because we're conscious that life will change. There's more time to go out for coffee with friends or more time for walking.
7-day weekend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But basically what we've learned is if we were to go and just go for it and jump in 2 feet first, next year we'd have a shortfall of around £500.
£500 per month.
Per month.
Yeah. So I think there's 3 options. We've just been talking about 3 options, haven't we? So first option is if we worked for another year, that shortfall would disappear because we'd be paying more into our pensions over the next 12 months.
Max,
and that hole would close. Therefore, in 12 months' time, we could just fully switch off and fully retire. Option 2 is we can say, well, is that budget realistic? Can we cut our cloth a little bit and reduce it a little bit? And then option 3 is the one that's been taking most of our time, isn't it? Which is thinking about, could we just fill that gap? So with 500, so let's say it was £250 each. At minimum wage job, we're talking 6 hours a week work each.
Yeah.
So let's go to you first. If I said to you, how are you going to make up? It's only minimum wage. Where are you going to make up 6 hours a week? What would you be your preference?
Well, when we started the whole thought process of being redundant, one of the things I considered was retail. 6 hours, maybe a Saturday or a Sunday in the local Tesco or a garage or something like that, doing that type of work. Which to be honest, I did it when I was about 18. But it's a different kettle of fish when you're in your 50s, isn't it? On your feet all day. And then the other thing I really thought about, and I think I talked about it in the redundancy video, is I absolutely adore dogs. I've got my own dog, Pink, and right now I've got another guest staying with us, Baxter. And I considered, do I do that as a living? So do I look at maybe a dog walking type business, or maybe a sitting dog sitting, or pet visits?
And the kind of thing where we've always wanted, isn't it? If the odd occasion where we were both working outside the house, we mostly work from home, but it would have been great, wouldn't it, to have someone to come around, not having to rely on family to come and walk the dogs, or even just feed and just say hello to the dogs for an hour if we're out for a few hours, that kind of service.
So, kind of thinking, again, how many hours, how much work would that entail? Kind of came across, I've been doing a little bit of research, and I think that you look at around, is it £15? £15 an hour
per hour, yeah.
So I'm thinking, do you do 2 dogs twice a week? So that was that £60 a week.
2 dogs for 2 hours, you mean?
2 dogs for 2 hours, yeah.
Once a week.
Well, yeah. Or 2 dogs for 1 hour twice a week, more realistically. So does that fill the gap? And then I think it's lovely at the moment. Summer's just gone. Dog walking's great. Do I want to be doing that in January in the snow and the rain and the cold? And do I want to be doing it when I'm 67? Because that's how long we're talking about.
Until because shortfall's there till we get state retirement.
Till we get state pension. Yeah, so yeah, I'm really undecided on that one. As much as I'd love to do it now, I don't know whether realistically it's going to be feasible even in 5 years' time, never mind 12.
So for you though, you know, rather than doing minimum wage 6 hours a week, you can potentially do contracting in your line of work 1 month a year, 11 months off.
Yeah,
that would bring in around the same kind of cover the shortfall.
And what we talked about as well is if you think about going into like retail or something, then you end up back in that committed hours, don't you? So right now, you know, we commit to work a 37.5-hour week with 5 weeks annual leave, and you really constrained with that. The idea for me, the idea I love about retirement is removing those constraints and being able to have that freedom and flexibility. And I think if you've got kind of a little bit of a flexible business where you're looking, you know, doggo walking, or maybe you've got more flexibility.
Yeah, but having said that, say you want to go on holiday for a fortnight and you only do 6 hours a week. It's only 1 day, and you're taking 1 day off, aren't you?
Yeah, but it's all prorated, isn't it? So you don't.
No, it's not. I'm not talking leave.
Oh, right. Okay.
You have 1 day, you've got 13 days. Haven't you, really? So I don't think it'd be that difficult to manage that. Okay, so
what about you?
My 250, where did I come from? Well, I'm quite enjoy doing these YouTube videos, and you know, YouTube pays us for doing them, isn't it? So I got my first payment off YouTube last month. Currently around £300 a month from YouTube just for producing the videos. Now, I would say that probably takes me about 6 hours a week. Probably. So, you know, it is equivalent to minimum wage, but I really enjoy doing it. It's good fun. Gives me a bit of creative thinking as well. So I could probably get my pot from that if I thought to myself, I don't really want to be doing this long term. Then potentially I have done contracting in the past, so I could do, you know, a month, a year, or even do 3 months for 2 years and then stop. That's an option, isn't it?
Yeah,
really,
it is an option. Yeah.
Which you could do the same as well, potentially.
Yeah.
For me, though, I quite like the idea of what you complain about is that routine, you know, being stuck to something. I quite like to have something in the week to say, I'm going to go and do this, and have a bit of a commitment to give me a bit of structure, really. So say, for example, I did retail and it was a Saturday. Saturday or Sunday is always good days for retirees, because why would you do Monday if you're retired? Then, you know, looking forward to that on a Saturday, if it was an interesting type retail job. I quite like the idea of that. But, you know, it's been a struggle for us to come to decisions. We feel like that we've got a plan, and then we look at the numbers again and the plan changes, and we need someone to help us make a decision. We can't have someone to help us make a decision. But I'll tell you what I do, I love reading the comments of what people say, because, you know, there's a lot of people who watch these videos and comment who've been retired 5 years. There's a lot of people who have got 5 years till they retire. There's some people right on the edge of retirement. So you get this view, don't you, from different people.
Different perspectives.
So, you know, if you have any thoughts on this, it would really help. I know it's our decision at the end of the day, but reading other people's thoughts on this makes a difference, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah.
Tell you what I could do.
I was just about to. You could head back out on the road
with the band,
polish your saxophone.
yeah. Blues Brothers back on the road again, couldn't they? Yeah. So yeah, playing with bands, pub bands, that kind of thing is what I used to do, and yeah, it's typically £50 a gig. So I'd have to do 5 a month, which is probably more than I ever did. I used to play once a week, once a fortnight, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, but you were also working full time and a young family, so you'd have more time now.
Yeah, but there's not much work in that kind of thing anymore.
Not really, sadly not.
You know, we're not in the 80s anymore where every band had a saxophone player, did they? You know?
So if you know any bands out there that need a saxophone player,
no, don't do that. No, I think I'd rather make YouTube videos than do that, to be honest.
Well, at least we've reached a decision on one thing.
Yeah. Actually, I've sold on my saxophones. That'd fill the gap, wouldn't it? Probably.
Some of it. Yeah. No, but honestly, we'd really love to hear your thoughts and your experiences as well, because we really are, feels like between, you know, do we work, do we give it up and do something a little bit less stressful and a bit more meaningful and enjoyable to us? Or do we just sit it out for another, you know, 12, 18 months, realistically, it'd be about
12.
Yeah.
It's a hard decision. I think I have a slight preference, and it's the other preference to you, isn't it? So
we're opposite ends at the moment, aren't we?
Preferences, yeah. But you know, nothing. Potentially, we could do it at different times.
Yeah, we don't have to do the same thing, do we?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's the update. The news: Tracy's not been made redundant, which is good news.
Yeah.
But it also means we've got a new set of plans to work through, and
watch this space.
Watch this space. Yeah. And keep watching. Press that subscribe button, because I won't need to go and work in a shop at the weekend then if you do that.
Or polish up the saxophone.
I'll polish my saxophone up, yeah. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.